Hi everyone, welcome back to Vital Healing. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Dr. Candida Schwartz. I'm a naturopathic doctor as well as an intuitive healer. So for today, we are going to talk about the gut-brain axis. And I did a whole video a long time ago, like months ago, that explained a lot of this gut-brain axis and how the connection and the communication between our gut and our brain how it kind of determines our overall health, our mental, emotional, spiritual, as well as physical health. So I'm going to do this other video because the more information that you know and the more that you understand about this connection, the healthier you will be holistically. So I will link that other video below, but I do want to talk today about leaky gut syndrome as well as leaky brain syndrome. So, what does this mean? So, I will talk about what each of them individually means, and then I will give you some ideas on how to heal and prevent leaky gut and leaky brain syndromes. So, comment at any point, whatever you'd like to share. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so leaky gut syndrome. This one you've probably heard of. It is when the lining of so if this is the lining, let's see, if this is the lining of our intestines, let's say this is the tube of our intestines, right? And along these walls of this tube are cells that determine whether we want to reabsorb something that's going through our gut, whether we want to reabsorb it, or whether we need to eliminate something as waste in urine and stool and in sweat. So the good things that you want to reabsorb are your nutrients, your fats, your proteins, your antioxidants, your carbohydrates, all the things that your body utilizes to, be healthy, like a fully functioning organism, right? And then you want to eliminate like byproducts and, fiber and things that your body can't digest, doesn't need to further digest, and it just needs to be passed along, right? Toxins, different things that our body just needs to get rid of, right? So what happens with leaky gut syndrome is that these cells get compromised, and all of a sudden the cell, instead of being nice and tight and having the cell that decides whether it's going to go through or not, it becomes loose and permeable to things that you're reabsorbing into the bloodstream that are reacting and mounting an immune response because they shouldn't be in there. And then you also might be no longer absorbing your like healthy things, right? Your nutrients and your vitamins and minerals and carbohydrates and all of the things that your body needs to utilize. You can be eliminating that. That's why a lot of times when somebody has a compromised gut and digestion, and they take supplements, it's like, is it even absorbing? We don't know because that lining is compromised. So I'll leave that's for right now, and then I'll come back to it. All right, leaky brain is when the blood-brain barrier, so this barrier around your brain it's a very strong barrier that doesn't allow a lot of things to enter your brain. And when we have leaky brain syndrome, it's a breakdown of that blood-brain barrier. And that leak causes an inflammatory reaction because that blood-brain barrier is preventing like toxins and infections and medications and food and environment. It's like, these barriers are keeping all of these different organs really healthy in our body, right? So what are some signs of leaky gut? IBS, any kind of parasite, So whether that's a worm, whether that's yeast, whether that's SIBO, small intestinal bowel overgrowth, um, and what are some manifestations of the leaky brain? Brain fog, dementia, Parkinson's, MS. There's a whole slew of things that can come up with like physical manifestations, diagnoses, chronic illness that can come up, autoimmune disease, like so many different things can come up when we have leaky gut and or leaky brain. And leaky gut, if it is leaking, can cause brain fog, right? If you have a candida overgrowth, right, like a yeast overgrowth, one of the signs, like, yes, you have the gut, the bloating and the gas and the diarrhea, or whatever's going on for you, IBS or whatever, but you also get brain fog, and you're forgetful, and you don't sleep well at night, and you have chronic anxiety and depression, right? IBS, SIBO, any of these intestinal overgrowths of bacteria, parasites, yeast, fungus, viruses, bacteria, like there are so many different things. They're so intertwined. I've been kind of intimidated to do this video because they're so intertwined. So the key to this is to go and see a holistic doctor, because the number one thing that you need to do for prevention as well as healing these barriers and getting your body reset into a healthier, like homeostasis, like a new balance, like getting your body back into balance, is to cut down on inflammation, to decrease and ultimately eliminate inflammation. A lot of people have talked about how Alzheimer's, they're considering it type 3 diabetes because it is so connected to inflammation. So the best ways to eliminate inflammation, and I do have a couple of videos that touch upon this, so I will talk about it, are to figure out what your allergens are. What is causing inflammation? Gluten is going to be one of the number one things because it attacks the nervous system, gut, brain, right? Sugar and dairy, those are big ones because to make up a lactose molecule, you have one molecule of glucose, right? And a molecule of lactulose. That's what makes up a that's what makes up a lactose molecule. So dairy, especially like milk and things like that and sugar effectively work the same in many of our bodies, especially if you are inflamed. Processed foods, refined foods, fungus overgrowth. So if you have like mold, that you're really like chronically being like affected by mold, if it's in your, so environmental stuff, right? All of the toxins that we deal with, bad water, low grade water, chlorine in the water. We have hard water here in Maine, so it's, we get our wells tested, and there's a lot of heavy metals in my water, so I have a filtration system set up. Alcohol is another thing that can really mess up these barriers. And then chronic stress is another really important one to consider, because if your nervous system is chronically on overload, it's going to deplete your adrenals, your fight or flight response, which is going to trigger an inflammatory response in your body. And then boom, you've got a whole slew of problems, not even just the mental, emotional ones, as well as the gut issues. You get achy joints, rashes on the skin, chronic like chronic colds. You might have a hard time fighting something like Epstein-Barr or Lyme's disease or COVID-19. You might develop an autoimmune a condition, or if you already had the autoimmune condition, it could be re-triggered. So what can we do also to help our bodies? There are so many anti-inflammatories. And again, talking to a holistic doctor, an acupuncturist, a naturopath like me, I mean, there's so many different holistic healers that you can go to, and so many, they're so great at deflaming the body, right? So, berberine. I'm going to just list a few, but if you're already on medications or you have a lot of chronic illness going on, please talk to your doctor before starting any of this. But vitamin C is the obvious one. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is a really great anti-inflammatory and detoxer. Myo-inositol is really great. Berberine. Again, getting rid of what the thing that's causing inflammation in your body, whether it's environmental or it's food, figuring that out either with an elimination diet, a diet journal, a health journal, or getting a blood test done. Ginger and turmeric, the golden milk, those are big ones. Vitamin D, magnesium, your B vitamins. Sleep hygiene, doing anything you can to help promote that sleep. Melatonin is incredible for that, especially in the higher doses between 10 milligrams and 20 milligrams. It actually has an antioxidant effect at that level. It's anti-carcinogenic, and it'll help you sleep and get you into that sleep cycle, because that's the best thing that your body needs, is to get a good night's sleep to rebuild and heal. Digestive enzymes, hydrochloric acid, like betaine HCl, those can be really great for helping us digest our food properly and help the gut lining kind of heal and repair. Other things I like are licorice, slippery elm, aloe vera juice, especially if you have that kind of like regurg and chronic heartburn. Those can all be really helpful. Dealing with your mental, emotional issues, meditation, yoga, talk therapy, coming to somebody like me who's an energy healer or a Reiki master or a shaman or an acupuncturist or a craniosacral therapist. There's so many different people out there that are doing such great healing work. Resveratrol, omega-3s, killing if there is an overgrowth of a parasite, yeast or bacteria. Those are other things to consider, right? You might need to get a stool test, you might need to get a blood test, a saliva test. You want to really pump the antioxidants, because those are your best friends for cellular repair. Antioxidants, so anything that's colorful, any colorful vegetable and fruit is really high in antioxidants, unless you respond to them. So like not tomatoes and nightshades if you have a reaction to them. Green leafy vegetables are really great. Broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Again, if any of these cause issues, you want to talk to your doctor about that. Anything I'm listening. Hydration, mindful eating, exercise, anything that you can do to stimulate the vagus nerve. And I do a stimulation of the vagus nerve breathing in that video below, so you can check that out. What else did I put in my little cheat sheet, everybody? Anything that detoxifies. So I have some hydrotherapy videos that are really great for detoxifying and helping with aches and pains. And then again, anything that's stress management is great. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is bone broth. That is very, very, very reparative to the gut, to the gut lining. And when I make my bone broth, I add a bunch of onion skins, because so I save them. I wash my onion skins and then I put them in, I dry them, and then I put them in a bag and I put them in the refrigerator or the freezer until I'm going to use them. And then I add like onion skins of like 5 or 6 onions. And the reason why is that it's really high in quercetin naturally. So you don't have to take a quercetin supplement necessarily. That is one of the kind of like the old school, just really great anti-inflammatories is quercetin, and it's really, really, really high in onion skins. Um, and then, of course, be mindful of your fruits, your vegetables, your meats. You want grass-fed, you want organic. If that's not possible, hormone-free. If that's not possible, then you can do like a vegetable wash with lemon oil and grapeseed extract and vinegar to help clean off any pesticides or something that's on your fruits and vegetables. Um, yeah, and Thrive Market actually will send really high grade meat if you can't access it where you are locally. That's a great resource if you need something sent to you. But typically there's a farm nearby, and you can always talk to the farmers about what they're feeding their animals and how they're treating their animals. So I hope that that's helpful. Take really good care of your gut and your brain. And, this isn't here to scare you. This is here to empower you. So please like and subscribe and share and turn on that notification bell. Comment below. Anything that you can do really supports my channel. It's very appreciated. And we will see you next time. I post every Thursday at the very least. Yeah, so take really great care of yourself. And thank you for hanging out with me today. All right. We'll see you next time.